So if you enjoy this video and want to see more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by clicking on the PayPal link in the description box, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Also, leave us a thumbs up. It helps us get more views.
Absolutely, it's all occurring, and the far left faction that are absolutely freaking out, and you're going to see a lot more false flags. Obviously, they have not stopped since the political assassinations of character that you're experiencing, and several other patriots.
Yeah, what do you make of this temper tantrum? I'm told that they're having all their networks cut off, not just by you, but other high-level confirmed sources. They say this is a temper tantrum.
Yeah, they're losing it. The financing's gone. The DNC has no money to begin with, but even their covert funding, the covert funding that they've been running on for a long time is all sucked up. It's out of Saudi Arabia. The deep state's out of there. Their only hope here is China, and China's has no loyalty to them. Truly, they just want power and sort of projected power. So Trump's strong. He's present, and their money's drying up, and they're realizing that they've picked their sides, and they've really picked the wrong side here.
Oh yeah.
Hey guys, we're gonna get back to this video in just a second. Just wanted to give you a quick reminder. We are now releasing our information through a multitude of channels. Our main channel being Operation Zakar, because YouTube shut down the Operation Hell YouTube channel during the purge a couple of weeks back. So make sure you subscribe to Operation Zakar right now. Also, if you want to join us in the info war, we are trying to raise up 1,000 YouTube channels. You can sign up for our free online training by clicking on the link in the description box below. In the meantime, you're going to enjoy this amazing video with an intel source named Zach, who's going to drop some massive bombshells. You can't get this type of information unless you are high level inside the deep state as a white hat. So make sure to be diligent and listen to this 3-part video series and take notes. Also, I want to encourage all of you to spread this video by sharing the link on your Twitter accounts, your Facebook 50, and your MailChimp accounts. We need all the help we can get in overcoming the censors. They might be able to shut down one channel, but they won't be able to shut down thousands and thousands and thousands of people spreading links. The Republic is depending on patriots like yourself to spread information and expose the corruption. Also, don't forget that you can join Mackenzie and I live for the weekend review online by clicking on the other link in the description box below that says Saturday broadcast.
We've got Zach for this segment, a little bit more of the next. Zach, again, is an amazing intel source. He's actually a public figure. He's been in major news articles, been in national television as a patriot, decorated individual that works in other clandestine areas, non-Army Special Operations now. And he comes on the show, and just the info he gives us is right lined up with my other sources and what they say is going on. So you were continuing. This is a short segment, a little bit longer segment coming up with this total war we're in. And the left is getting more shrill, more panic, more crazy. But suddenly I've seen some of them, the Joy Behars, Hillary Clinton's former campaign manager, they're all coming out saying, okay, we're sorry, Hillary needs to go away. Maybe Trump's not that bad. I'm starting to see them realize that they've lost.
Yeah, absolutely. And, the more they start picking at it, they're going to, if they really want investigations, they better be careful, what they're wishing for, because they're going to get it. And it's really going to uncover what's really been done here. So now you see them, a lot of the deep state actors in the far left, they're really playing this Russian card real hard. And we just got to be clear here. We cannot blame the entire Russian Federation for the actions of rogue deep state actors who happen to be Russian. But make no mistake, they're being ran by the same deep state that sabotages our country, that attacks our country just like anywhere else.
Explain to people that Russia is infiltrated by the same globalists we are, and to claim that, oh, it's coming from IP addresses in Russia. I mean, that's the easiest way to frame somebody ever.
Absolutely. I mean, these are pretty murky and difficult waters to decipher. But, yeah, technically they are Russian. But they're deep state actors. They're enemies of the Russian Federation. So you can't just tie somebody's name to it and blame an entire. Well,
that's like Russian bots sending Michael Moore to a demonstration anti-Trump. Most of it's anti-Trump.
It's real dangerous, and especially with this, they're expelling them in the UK. They're having some real issues here, and Trump's kind of signing on to it. But I got a feeling that Trump and Putin have communicated quite well, and he's really letting everyone see what's going on here.
So you think this is for public consumption, so that the globalists can't push this Russian narrative?
Yeah, there's no question. This happens right when Tillerson's about to leave, right when the CIA gets the shakeup, there, and
so Trump's neutralizing his flank.
Yes, absolutely. And, Tillerson telling people to remain at their posts in that farewell speech is very bizarre, and it needs to be looked into. And, of course, a lot of people are looking into it. But, Russia here is fighting a war in Syria that, with all due respect, we started over decades. So they're actually physically, taking care of this, this radical Islamic threat. They're getting their name dragged through the mud with the collusion crap. And now all of a sudden they're being attributed to all these assassinations around the world to these individuals who happen to be Russian connected. Yeah, there's bad factions in Russia, but to blame the entire federation that's trying to get on its feet is really dangerous, and it gets real hard to decipher because technically they are Russian.
And right before the Putin election, they do something in the Russian factions to embarrass Putin.
Absolutely.
And then they leave a trail so the British MI6, famously corrupt, can wave that in front of Trump and make him blame Russia.
Absolutely. Get us involved in a major real kinetic conflict that will stifle and stop all the progress that we're making globally and give them cover to, do other things behind the scenes from a deep state level.
So that's the globalist endgame, is start a bigger war to derail America coming back.
That's their last big blow. That's all they got here. Their funding's drying up. They have to pull out all the stops. They're going to go for broke, and this is pretty good cover for them to try to just buy time, because that's all they got, because they are hurtling toward the inevitable. They're done. They're going to be prosecuted. The money's gone. But if they can't somehow get us into a war with Russia, make no mistake, it will be a distractory enough event to provide some cover and just buy them time.
Let's talk about that. How do we stop the globalists triggering a war with Russia? Zach is a former Army Special Operations officer, patriot that still works in areas of clandestine industry in the government. And he's a great source. We have had so many things he breaks down here on air end up coming true or unfolding. A lot of what he talks about dovetails with the QAnon. But my other sources in the Pentagon and other areas, they're saying the same things. It's just that, Zach, you get to hear from somebody who's got that same understanding and mindset to give you that best thinking perspective. So now you've got this former GRU colonel out of Russian intelligence who's been in the UK over a decade. He ends up with his daughter getting nerve gassed out on a porch outside of a little shop, a little 5-and-dime grocery store. They get found. They get taken in critical condition. Then we hear, within days, it's the Russians. They did it. And Zach's saying the intel he's got is that there's a trail back to Russia to make it look like that. Well, Russia's 160, 170 million people. It's 3 times geographically the size of the U.S. Just like Soros spends billions trying to overthrow Russia, 80% of the Russian bots, which were still small compared to other bots, were just, that's how you get around campaign finance law. You go spend money in a foreign country, and then you affect the election. There were hundreds of countries that had bots, and most of it was for Hillary. You remember during the campaign, Hillary was being shoveled down your throat. Conservatives were getting blocked and all the rest of it. So then 600,000 Twitter users that ever had a Russian bot post on their page, just a comment, you're now a Russian agent. So Zach was getting into the attempts by the globalists, by the leftist stay-behind networks to trigger a war with Russia. It's all they've got left with their networks drying up. So we've got 7 minutes left before we go to break and come back with Leanne McAdoo. Recap all that critical information, Zach, and then roll through it in any other points.
Yes, and basically what's going on, I mean, it's not hard to figure out. And I know that the White House knows this just due to the collusion fiasco. They're drawing all these things that there's nothing there. They know there's nothing there. So when Russia's being persecuted for all these issues, it's not too hard to tell that this is ridiculous and it's along the same thinking as the same people. We can't blame the entire Russian Federation for the actions of rogue deep state actors who happen to be Russian. And obviously our intel communities know this, and the White House obviously knows this. There's some things out here for public consumption that are going on, but Trump knows what's going on, and eventually, Trump and Putin will get along, and this will all work out, I'm sure of. But, when you start doing things like this, things escalate very quickly, so we do have to keep an eye on it. But this is all meant to give them cover and just buy them time. All while, in that speech at Miramar, Trump also, while talking to the Marines, spoke about the Space Force. So this is what they're trying to stifle, because this is the big...
And by the way, you said that months ago. You said Trump's going to announce big stuff in space, and that's on record.
This is it. This is the future. future. In that speech at Miramar, Trump announced the Space Force to be created. You know, he says in the speech, we're going to make Colonel John Glenn proud. He speaks of going to Mars very soon as well. Then he emphasized that we would be doing none of this if Hillary Clinton had even won, because they do not want there to be a multiplanetary future that's human-based. You know, that's more ground for them to cover.
And by the way, that's what Musk and others have said. That's what I've said decades ago. The globalists want a transhumanist into our life form, merging with machines, total power trip. And Trump and this whole movement is just about having a human future. Doesn't mean Trump's perfect, but this is a pragmatic, pro-capitalist human future where humans get to decide what they want to do with their own personal evolution.
Absolutely. And, you know, a lot of this information started to come out now. Under the past administrations, space exploration was completely just dampered and just, you know, handcuffed for obvious reasons. They got to keep us fighting at each other's necks. They got to play the race card, because there's only one race that matters once you go multiplanetary, and that's the human race. That's really hard to fight against each other if you realize we're all of the same blood type. We're all of the same blood. We're all of the same.
And there's unlimited space, unlimited resources.
You go multiplanetary, the race car gets thrown right out the window, because we have to, you know, broaden our horizons, really start thinking outside of the box, and they know that, and that's just something that happens immediately when we leave this planet and go to the moon and set up bases, and go to Mars and set up bases. And this is not conspiratorial. This is Elon Musk just a week ago.
This is a fact. I mean, they put out their leftist conspiracy theory that space travel doesn't happen. It's got to all be robot. Let's talk about these new systems they discovered.
Absolutely. So, you know, Thomas Zurbuchen, the NASA Science Mission Director, comes out with the TRAPPIST-1 system, the discovery of it. They're looking at it. And what the TRAPPIST-1 system is a group of 7 planets with atmospheres much like our own. And, you know, he explains that finding a second Earth is not a question of if, but when. And this is the working theory. This is what we're going towards. But it's specifically at the helm of it. This is going to be a pro-human expansion. This is going to be a pro-human exploration. And, the Silicon Valley sultans can't stand this in real time, as Trump is telling the troops that we're going to have a space force, as we're having... Because
they want a total monopoly here on Earth with us into their forced reality, into their false reality to play God. They don't want the big expansion. And people say, oh, it's impossible. Folks, we're already 99% there with the technology we've got. Well, look how far we've already come. We're unstoppable. Go ahead.
Absolutely. And, you know, at the same time, Trump's laying this all out with his National Space Council and in speaking to the Marines. Elon Musk is in the ATX in Austin, there in your backyard, speaking at South by Southwest, supporting and reaffirming what the president is laying out, because of course, they're working closely together via the DOD. And Elon laid it all out for the world to hear, specifically the anti-humanity Silicon Valley sultans and the globalists. He loudly emphasized, and human civilizations are coming to the moon. Human civilizations are coming to Mars. And, you know, he speaks in straightforward terms and warns of the AI. He says if people haven't watched that speech that happened about a week ago, they need to watch it. He says he says he is as close to it as anybody, and it scares the hell out of him. He says the advent of AI is more dangerous than nuclear warheads by leaps and bounds, without question. And he calls on President Trump to form a human public panel to oversee all of it. He says it's much more than the nuclear weapons. We have people overseeing all the nuclear weapons, of course. We have to have a human.
And that's what I've always been saying, is we need a human preservation defense league. And we have to, because the globalists, again, are such human haters, they believe they're going to become this new alien. And the media always says, oh, Jones claims that Silicon Valley are aliens. No, they all say that they believe they're going to become these transcendent gods. This is their weird satanic religion. And it's so good to suddenly see this all over the news.
Hey everybody! Many of you thousands of Operation Hell subscribers are passionate patriots. We can tell because of the comments that you leave in the comment section. But America needs more than just passionate comments from anonymous subscribers. America needs info warriors who are willing to spread information. Believe it or not, us patriots, we are beginning to win the info war. We are on the march and the enemy is on the run. They never anticipated this explosion of social media. The bad guys who are behind the scenes attempting to destroy our republic, they didn't realize that platforms like YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook would give voice to those of us who haven't been fooled by the fake news, Project Mockingbird, CIA-ran media. Patriots like you and me now have a level playing field to take part in the war for the soul of our nation. And the good news is, we don't even have to use guns. We can simply use our home computers and laptops, just like I'm doing right now. In fact, The Operation Hell YouTube channel has reached over 73,000 unique individuals just this month. So if you want to get off of the sideline and onto that playing field, we at Operation Hell want to help. We have helped over 18,000 individuals just like you. Learn how to create and distribute content online. It doesn't matter if you're a novice with computers or a pro. Operation Hal is willing to train you for free in our simple techniques that will allow you to have a voice in our nation. So if you're interested in our free online training...
Hey guys, normally at this point in the video we would tell you to email Mackenzie, but unfortunately YouTube is threatening to cancel our Gmail account as well. So if you want to sign up for the free online Info Warrior training, click on the link in the description box below and you can sign up directly for our next boot camp.